Welcome back, my scumbags. In this video, we are going to cover the death of attention spans, how TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, all this short form content has changed the way that we think and changed the way that we perceive the world and what we find entertaining. Ultimately, what I've noticed is, in all honesty, scrolling is so easy, right? I mean, I can't sit here and say that I haven't fallen victim to it, because then I would be a hypocrite, because I think that's exactly what has happened, which is that everybody has gotten so trapped in this mind sphere that we call TikTok, or short form content, I should say, that it's hard for them to grasp the fact that that's damaging your brain, and the fact that, you know, you're losing brain cells every day that you're watching whatever people find on here, right? And at the end of the day, I personally think that short form content is bad, you know what I mean? And that it's not good, because it holds on to you, and it just makes you lazy, because you're just sitting there and spending hours scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And ultimately, I think that's the problem, is that people get so stuck in this scrolling game that they miss out on life, right? And I think it causes a lot of people to just not explore the world, not romanticize life. And I think, you know, it leads to a lot of mental health challenges as well, because you're so stuck in this digital world, you know, so stuck in, again, this mind sphere, this matrix that they're putting you in, that you're not understanding that that's exactly what this is. It's to trap you. It's to make you believe that, you know, the people who they're planting onto your social media, you know, feed, that, you know, they're making you believe that you have to be like them. That's the point. They're making you believe that you have to be like these people. And that if you're not like these people, if you don't look like this woman, if you don't look like this guy, if you're not making $1 million giving BS motivational speeches that probably are AI generated, you know, for the most part, you know what I mean, that you're a failure. And that working a 9 to 5, like I said in the previous video, you know, according to Little Tay, working a 9 to 5, you're a loser. And I think a lot of people are starting to believe that. And that's why you have the rise in what they call the YouTube era, which honestly is dead, right? This isn't the YouTube era anymore, right? This is the Mr. Beast era, the quick cash grab era, the era of people who just do whatever, the no class era really is what it is, right? You talk about low class scum, that's low class scum. You know what I mean? People who sit here and try to grab on to any little thing that they can get to be famous and not have to sit at a desk all day. But these are the same people who sit down and drink Mountain Dew and eat Doritos. You know what I mean? Like I said, some people like queso, right, are cool. And it's like, hey, you know what? You made the right person famous, or even Sketch, right? You know what I mean? For the most part, you got someone like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, just quick cash grab, clout chasing pieces of shit. You know what I mean? That, in all honesty, don't do anything for society. What the heck is Logan Paul doing, you know what I mean, for the world? He ain't doing anything, you know what I mean? The only good thing he possibly could have done for the world is maybe give George Janko the right audience. That's really the only thing that he has done. But other than that, like I said, it's people like that who influence these younger kids, especially a lot of Gen Z, to believe that this is the way. We have to be an entrepreneur, and if you're not having 17 businesses, if you're not building 13 funnels and, you know, making $1 billion a year, then you're not making it, and it's not worth it. I mean, look at Angel Reese. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, you're making really more than enough money. I mean, I understand it's like, oh, but it's not about that. It's about the equality. It's about the equality, because without equality, what are we? You're people. At the end of the day, that's what you are. You're people. Look, I understand, LeBron James, but nobody's watching your games, and that's the problem. Yeah, I mean, but we're getting off topic. The point is exactly that. Mind sphere. It gets people all riled up. That's really all it does. It gets people all riled up, because you're making them believe that this is a worthy career choice, and that, hey, if you sit here and you just, and like I said in the first video I posted, I can't be a hypocrite, but at the same time, this is more social commentary on the fact that it's like, look, this isn't about clout chasing. I'm not doing this for the clout chasing. I'm doing it more for the enjoyment of putting out the content that people would want to watch. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I mean? But there's other people who sit here and they do all this stuff and they're copying all these other people and they're not really adding any originality to what they're doing, and they're no better. All they're doing is producing more brain rot content for 5-year-old little kids to say in kindergarten or preschool or daycare or whatever, you know? Like, the point is that it changed our brains to believe that this is entertaining. Like, look at someone like Heston James or any of these other pranksters who are doing the screaming challenge where they're screaming in the stores and they're like, oh, that's not me, I'm not screaming. You know, like, when did terrorizing middle-class Americans, you know, become entertaining or minimum wage employees? You know what I mean? Like when did that become entertaining? When has that become comedy? Oh, that's so funny. I mean, for the most part, I get it, right? Because you're like, oh my God, but people 20 years ago wouldn't have found that funny. You know, people 30 years ago, 40 years ago, definitely 50 years ago, they wouldn't have found that funny because you're disturbing the peace at that point. And now I feel like it's the same thing. Everybody wants their street cred at this point. You know, they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to disturb the peace. Like, ultimately, it makes no sense. And I think that's the main issue here is that TikTok, short form content really started with Vine. Like I said in the first video, I blame Vine. It makes everybody believe that being the influencer is the greatest thing in the world. And oh my God, I gotta look up to this guy. And if I can't be the next Logan Paul, then I'm gonna kill myself. You know, like, come on, dude. At the end of the day, you guys make no sense, right? At least the people who do this type of stuff, talking to the brain rot creators themselves, right? Going to the brain rot farm, you make no sense. And ultimately, to end this video, I personally believe that you guys need to really just rethink your whole strategy here. And if you're going to produce content, produce meaningful content that actually helps somebody and not produce content that are going to make people believe that they can get away with doing these so-called pranks. And then when they end up getting shot like that one guy, or they end up getting, beat up, then, oh, well, the person who reacted that way is the bad person. No, but you provoked them. And that's my whole point. Stop provoking people because it's going to get you hurt. Other than that, I'm Low Class Scum. If you guys like this video, go ahead and leave a like and a comment, subscribe, and personally, share this video with your scumbag friends. You know you got some. See you guys in the next one.